What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a happy match reaction here on Anfield Agenda after the Reds have gone to Molineux and beaten Wolves by 3-1, a result that books our place in the quarter-final of this season's FA Cup. Who will face? Well, we'll find that out on Monday. But we can sit back, relax, enjoy the weekend knowing we've done our job this evening. 3-1 is a scoreline that doesn't flatter us one bit. We were thoroughly the better side in that game. Second half, much improved performance from the first. We'll take you through it, giving you our highlights from the game. But of course, we want to know your thoughts. So do let us know in the comments. Drop a like on this stream if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Quickly, I'll run through some of the numbers for you from this one. And with regards to possession, it was 67% for the Reds, 33% for Wolves. Total shots, Liverpool had 20 in the game, but 9 of those on target. 4 strikes for Wolves with 3 on target. Total dangerous attacks, 73 for Liverpool, 24 for Wolves. 11 corners in the game for Liverpool, none for Wolves. 631 passes for Liverpool, 92% accuracy, 314 for Wolves with 81%. We also have a man of the match poll running at the minute. We've asked you to vote for your Anfield Agenda man of the match. The options are Joe Gomez, Andy Robertson, Curtis Jones and Rio Ngamoa. Robbo, of course, with a goal and an assist today. CPG KTU said great win. Rio has to start Tuesday. Shearer sounded disappointed that Wolves lost. Look, I'm just happy that we found our way into the next round, and always hope for a home draw on Monday. I always want to see the lads in the Auto Cup scheme get a chance to go. So we'll talk about that. We'll give you some comments from Arne Slot and a little bit as well. They're starting to come through after the game. So yeah, let us know how you're feeling. Look, it's okay to be happy that we won and still be where you are, wherever you are with the manager. Don't undermine your own self. This is Liverpool winning. We should be happy. We're supposed to be happy. So enjoy it. It doesn't change the big picture for us, but what it does do is mean that we've at least righted the wrong from Tuesday. We've made sure that we're now into the final 8 of the FA Cup. It is a chance of silverware, and let's see what happens. So we've a big game coming up Tuesday. We travel over to take on Galatasaray in Istanbul, Champions League, last 16 first leg. It will be interesting to see who he goes with in that one. Good to see Virgil get at least 10 minutes of a rest at the end there. Vert's back on the pitch is a bonus as well. Ekitike, well, he didn't have to bring him off the bench, so he got a proper rest. So there are some upsides to this one today as well. Right, let's give you some Andy Robertson on his goal. He said most of them go over the bar. But this one didn't, Andy Robertson. It flew all the way into the corner and it was a delicious strike as well. Do let us know what your favourite goal of the day was. I have to say I particularly like the second one. The one that Andy Robertson plays it across to Mo, because that's the type of ball I've wanted us to utilise more this season. So well done to Robbo on that one. But let me know what your favourite goal was. And of course, do vote for your man of the match. Right, Oscar said I have to give it to Robbo, even though Rio was great. Look, I don't think I can disagree with that whatsoever. If I was voting for the man of the match, it would probably be gone towards Andy Robertson as well. Philip said better second half. I'd have swapped tonight with Tuesday. That's a good question. Oh, I don't know if I would, mate. I don't know if I would. Knowing what we know now, that United drop points and Villa drop points, I do see where you're coming from, because, that is the bigger picture. But we're in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup now, and our league position, it's still manageable. Although, I think, I don't know. If I had to pick one to win, I'd probably take this one, to be honest with you. Because I still think we'll have enough to get into the top 5 in the league. So, yeah. Do let us know, though, what you think about that, folks, because it's an interesting thought exercise. Can go to bed smiling, which is always a good thing. So Carl's having a wank. That's what I heard, Carl. Sorry, mate. That's yeah, I get you, mate. The whole weekend now is set up for a bit more calmness, Yeah. So I get it. I get you, mate. I'm with you. I'm going to be happy for the weekend as well. Rio is a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. Slot might have indirectly said he's starting Tuesday by taking him off after 60. Maybe. Like, it is a good look to see certain players coming off and getting time on the pitch for others. I mean, I'm glad Virgil got a few minutes off there tonight at the end, because you can't really find many opportunities with the lack of depth we have at centre-back to give him a breather. So, yeah, that was a good thing. No new injuries that we're aware of as well is a good thing. Morrison didn't look out of place when he came on. I thought he looked quite good as well. Good for him to get some minutes on the first team. Craig, would you swap Rio for Valverde? No, I wouldn't, because Rio has his whole career ahead of him. And I love Valverde as a player, but no, I really, really think Rio Engamoa can be something special. As long as we get Champions League and at least one trophy, said Shabazz. Before this week, I may have said I'd rather win the Prem, but since we know Villa and United lost, I'd definitely rather have this one, said Nags Games. That's kind of my thought process on it as well. Like, yes, you can look at it the other way and say we could have taken another step towards Champions League qualification with winning on Tuesday, but we are now 2 games away from a cup final, so I probably would have just about shaded this one. Nessie said Robbo's second half performance took me back to 2018. Yeah, it was phenomenal today, and I'm sure that'll give the manager some pause for thought for Tuesday, because going away to Istanbul is difficult, and you want experience in those type of atmospheres. So, dare I say, I'd probably give Robbo the start, and then have Kirkes rested up for Spurs at the weekend, and then for the return leg at Anfield. Right, let me give you some comments from the players after the game. So, Andy Robertson on Kirkes starting ahead of him recently said this: "It is what it is. Milos is a fantastic left back. It took him a little bit of time to settle in. The club have to move forward. We're not getting any younger. Some of us are in our 30s. The club have to be ambitious, and that's what we want." I love that he keeps saying we there. Is that an indication that maybe Robbo wants to stay on? Andy Robertson also said this: "I've nothing to prove in a Liverpool shirt. I've been here for 9 years and give my all. I hope the fans know that." Andy, we do. That is one thing, Andy Robertson, I hope that he never doubts. Truly. I don't know a Liverpool fan that doesn't think the world of Andy Robertson. An absolute model professional. A great example to young kids about not giving up and backing yourself, believing in yourself. He did it the hard way. So I have nothing but admiration and respect for Andrew Robertson. And yes, the fans do know, mate. The fans know exactly what we have and how much you're a big part of our success. Virgil, speaking on Rio Engamoa said he was outstanding tonight. He's a good boy. We're looking after him. He has to keep going. He does have to keep going, yes. And, of course, as a senior pro, he should be looking out for the younger players. Andrew said, "Hate to bring the mood down, but it's the FA Cup." I get that, Andrew, but it's still a trophy, right? And I'm certainly happy sitting here after a win. So I don't really see what you're trying to do with the comment, Andrew, because I get what you mean. It's like not number one priority, but you can only do what you can do at any given moment. And tonight it was about putting ourselves into the quarterfinal, and we did that. I would have liked to have seen a greater attacking threat from the start, but we got the job done. It still doesn't take away from the frustration on Tuesday, but ultimately, mate, I'd rather be in the competition than out of the competition. So from that regard, I'm happy. Mark said, "You can see why Gomez has never scored for us. That shot was wild. Couldn't hit a barn door." I still want him to get that goal, though. I do. I want him to get it before he moves on or doesn't. How long do you think Engamoa stays at Liverpool? Honestly, I think as long as the club want him, because he's a Liverpool fan, and whilst that doesn't always mean everything, it certainly means that he's in a place that he's dreamt of being. Same with let's say Harvey Elliott. The difference with Elliott was the pathway wasn't going to be there for him, and Wirtz was brought in. But Rio surely looked at the situation and thinks, right, I'm starting to get into the first team now. Fans are behind me. Senior pros are standing up for me. Pundits are saying good things about me. He's living the dream. So I hope he stays for a long time. CPG KTU said Mo now has 18 goal contributions, 30 games. Do you still think he ends up having a decent season? No, I don't. Because his numbers are otherworldly over his career, and he is judged differently. I'll be the first one to say that to you, because he's not judged the same way you judge a normal Premier League winger. He's judged by the standards we judge the greats by. So by his own phenomenal time at Liverpool Football Club, I don't think there's ever a way to say this is him having a decent season, because let's be honest, for most of the season he hasn't been as impactful as he would have wanted him to be and as we're used to him being. But if it ends up with silverware for everybody at the end of it, I don't think anyone will mind. Salah really seems to have a focus on another Champions League victory for the club, and I hope we can achieve that. But I think we'd have to do it in spite of the manager and not because of him. Rio's a Liverpool fan. I thought he was a United fan. From what I can understand, he's a Liverpool fan. There was videos of him at a younger age with a Liverpool shirt. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding of it. Craig, you speak complete sense. One of the best fan channels around. Thank you. I try to, despite people, loving to have a pop at me. I think a lot of these people made their mind up about me a long time ago and don't really want to give us a chance on here to come and try it out and, hear our opinions. Because yes, I say some really heated things at times, but that's 1% of the channel. What's this comment here? Paddy Wacker said, Craig, 42 games last season with 59 goals. At the same point this season, we've 22 goals. That's some drop off. Yeah, look, we were scoring for fun, but I think I don't mind the season of transition in attack. And again, the whole idea of bringing the players in we did was to take some of the burden off Mo, so we weren't relying on them too much. The real problem for me this year, and like I said, I can understand Mo needing to get used to new players in and around him. The biggest issue for me, though, was being in the centre of the park. I think at times we've been just too easy to play through. And even like the goal Wolves scored tonight, I know it's a consolation. I know it doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it's still a worrying thing to see, because it was one long ball from the goalkeeper over the top, a wrong decision from Dominic Szoboszlai about what to do in that situation. And that kind of underlines why, yes, he can do a job at right back, but he's not a right back. He's not a defensively minded player. And that was exposed there in that moment. And yes, we won 3-1. But, if that game had been a different way and we were pushing for a winner, that could have still easily happened. And these are the things that worry me. These straight through the middle. And we've said it so many times. It shouldn't be happening to us as often as it does. Andrew said, a win is a win, I suppose. I'd like to see better. Of course. And I don't disagree with you in that regard, Andrew. Just, Tuesday was hard to take, and it was frustrating, and it was, another setback and knock for us this season as Liverpool fans. Tonight we didn't know what to expect. First 45 wasn't great. We came out second half. We definitely looked better. We definitely looked like we had a bit more impetus about us, and we went about our business, got 2 quick fire goals, then grabbed the third and killed the game off. So, I'm not trying to say it's perfect, mate, but I'm grateful for a win. Lord Kempo said Liverpool need to buy centre-backs. Yeah, I agree. I think Ibrahim and Kanade's future will have a big part to play, though, in what Liverpool do in the centre-back role, because if Ibu stays, I think we can afford to bring in another young centre-back like a Joel or Donez. But if Ibu goes, I think you need to look towards a Nico Schlotterbeck or somebody of that ilk. Virgil, I'm all for giving him another year extension on top of the extension he already has, because I truly believe he can play to 36, 37, 38 at the top level. And if Canade stays, then you've got Xhaka, you've got Leone, and then, the centre-back situation doesn't look as daunting, then I think you're likely to see a situation where Gomez departs and another centre-back like Ordonez is brought in. Then down the line, Liverpool have that clause still that they could trigger for Joel Kwanzaa if they want to in a year's time as well. So, yeah, I think Canade, to me, holds the key to what will happen at centre-back. Honestly, just Google. There's a couple of people still debating about whether Rio's a Liverpool fan or not. Just Google Rio Liverpool fan or Rio Engamoa Liverpool fan as a kid or something, and you'll find the images in the video I'm talking about. Canade is leaving, Craig. Sure, a few were posting about it today. A few post about it every day. Nothing is determined yet. Like, 1 minute Real Madrid want them, the next minute they don't want them. Like, think about it logically. Where does he go that's better? Now, if Real Madrid want him and he wants to go there, okay, fair enough. But outside of that, where does he go? Is going to Paris Saint-Germain, if it's on the table, a step forward? No. Might be, something he likes because it's in the city he grew up in. Outside of that, where? Bayern Munich don't need him. Where else is he going to go? He can achieve what he wants to achieve with Liverpool, and he's a senior starting centre-back here. So, look, it's not a great position to be in for the club that we've let the contract get to this point, but, I still have to think that there's a chance he stays because we're a huge club. And, does he get the money he's asking for elsewhere? I don't know what we're talking about. So here's the image I'm talking about of young Rio. So that's the image that I was talking about, yeah, of young Rio Engamoa as a Liverpool fan as a kid in a Liverpool shirt. PSG is definitely a step up. Is it? Really? Like, think about what you're saying. You might have a point in that PSG are in a better position at this moment in time, but they're not a bigger club than Liverpool. Not by a long stretch, nor will they ever be. And they play in a league that the eyes of the world aren't on. The Premier League is the most watched league in the world, the toughest league in the world. So yes, Paris Saint-Germain are in a good place right now in their journey, but they're not a bigger club than Liverpool. They'll never be a bigger club than Liverpool. Red's Army said, I agree this takes us closer to a trophy, and that's what it's all about, Craig. So I pick this game. Rio is a bright spark. He definitely is. Farmers League and loses on a Friday night at home against Monaco. That's what I'm saying. Look, Paris is Canade's city, where he was born and raised, so, it'll have a natural lure to him. But again, we don't know if they want them. Like, I don't know what happens with Ibu. He could go, and I'm not saying he's nailed on to stay, but I definitely don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's leaving. I just don't think that situation's been sorted out yet. Apparently, Rio's a United fan. He's not. He's a Liverpool fan. And again, there's an image of him in a Liverpool jersey. So, he isn't. Every time a player bursts on the scene, the world rushes to tell you they're a United fan, and despite half them not being. But you see Rio there in the shirt, so let's wait and see. He's a Liverpool player, and that's the most important thing. That Rio had the opportunity to stay at Chelsea. He had the opportunity to go pretty much anywhere, and he chose to come to Liverpool to take that next step in his career. Why don't we play in the league like that? Great win, much love, and a great weekend to everybody. Well, there's a couple of things about it, right? One, that wasn't the strongest Wolves team. So that has a little part to play in it. Two, all of their focus and energy will rightly be on trying to stay up in the Premier League. We should have been winning both of the games. We should have won Tuesday. We should have won tonight. Liverpool should be in a position where we can get that done. So Tuesday was frustration, but at least tonight we did our job. We got the job done. We booked our place in the next round, and we get to sit back this weekend and watch everybody else, try their best to book their place in the next round. And then, of course, we have a huge game on Tuesday away against Galatasaray, a massive game. Peter said, "Hi Craig, how do we continue to find ourselves in these weak contract situations with key players? Genuine question. Rarely happens at other big clubs." So I think it's twofold, Peter. I think we have to give some leeway to Hughes and Edwards, but also we have to hold some accountability to the owners here. Because what happened was we had George Smatka in, getting players in with Jurgen, but not really doing the sporting director role. He wasn't sorting out the contract situation. We took our eye off the ball a little bit. Maybe we got a bit complacent around the likes of Trent, thinking he'd never want to move on. But it's difficult to try to figure out, since Hughes and Edwards have come in, why we have continued to not box off these contracts early. Like Virgil even said that for his own contract extension, it went later than he wanted it to go. So I'm not sure if it's a tactic that has some rhyme or reason to it that we don't understand, but it's certainly a risky game, and it's certainly one that fans are a little bit tired of. You know, we don't want to see players like Trent running down the contract, or players like Canade getting down to this position, or players like Andy Robertson. We'd like to have these sorted out and boxed off earlier. So truth is, I don't know how we keep ending up here. These aren't stupid people, but with the change that has been in that particular role at our club in recent years, it feels like we sort of took our eye off the ball a bit there, and now it's catching up with us. But I hope we aren't in this situation again. We've got Robertson up at the end of this season and a couple of others, Canade being one of them. After that, we've got Allison next year, and then we've got a few that are 2 years away, like Gravenberg, McAllister, Soboslai. So these have to be sorted out now. Are Real Madrid trying to unset Libu before they may have to play us? I don't know, Dave, but 1 minute they want them, the next minute they don't want them. Like, you see the same articles I see from the media in that part of the world. 1 minute they don't want them. He's not their guy. They want Schlotterbeck. They want X, Y, or Z. Then the next minute they're back in from again. So I don't know, but Real Madrid right now are not in a very good place, are they? They're a club that's falling apart. They're a club that's fallen away from Barcelona in the league. They're a club that are very unlikely to win the Champions League. Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo aren't exactly, tearing it up at the minute. Rodrigo's out for the remainder of the campaign. Mbappe is a knee injury. I don't know. I've never seen the appeal of Madrid. It's never been a club that would be a draw for me. But like I said, I just, like everybody else, want Liverpool to keep our best players. And Canade, since the passing of his dad and he's come back in, has been rock solid. Hey dude, didn't manage to watch. How do we get on performance-wise? How was Rio? Reckon we go and win this cup now. Love your stuff. Thank you. So the first half was we dominated territory, Josh, but we didn't really have any cutting edge. We didn't really make Sam Johnson work. Second half, we definitely came out better. Started on the front foot, got 2 goals inside the first 10 minutes, and just took the game away from Wolves at that point. We won it at a canter, and we could have won it even easier. Manager got to make some changes. Got to see Kieran Morrison get some minutes, which is good. We get a look at him. Got to rest up Virgil for a few minutes. We got to see Florian Wirtz back in. So yeah, just a good day at the office today with regards to the minutes for players, others getting a chance, some rotation, some rest. Yeah, this goes in the decent column, and it's not unusual as well in FA Cups that, you maybe struggle in the first 45 and then grind it through and find a way. Yeah, I'm not going to say it was great, because it wasn't, but it's job done. And we were never really in danger of not winning that game. We might have gone to extra time or whatever, but it never felt like we were going to lose it. Although, I say that, and I probably would have said that to you 74 minutes into the game on Tuesday as well, where Wolves hadn't really offered much going forward at all. Rio has to start every game from now on, said Itachi. Most of them, yeah. I think he's definitely underlined his credentials with his performance today. Still stuff Rio needs to work on, but you would expect that of a young player. Paddy Wacker. So, Craig, you made a very interesting comment saying how we're going to lose some of our top players. My point is, why isn't Slot mixing it up, the younger players in every game and not just a one-off game? Again, the answer to that is one that he can only give you, but I'm guessing it's a mixture of pressure because, he's in a job where he's expected to win stuff. And you want to bring youngsters in at the right time in the right environment, and you want them to be coming into a team performing well and not having to be a hero or being scapegoated if they don't do well. He definitely could have used more opportunities to bring some players through this season. But yeah, look, it's tough because nothing's changed in my mind. I still feel the way I feel, but I'm also a Liverpool fan first and foremost, and I'm happy we're in the next round, and that's what I wanted when we started this stream tonight. What was this? 1 second. We'll be number 6 in the draw on Monday. Thank you, Mark, for sending that on to me. Yeah, we'll be number 6 in the draw on Monday. Right, where are we at? What about the FSG Want Alonso thing earlier today? So I said to you guys, it was yesterday or the day before, that my information, my understanding, and the growing talking point amongst people behind the scenes has been that it looks like we're trending towards Alonso. Also, you haven't really seen Alonso being linked with too many other big jobs. Some people will go as far as to tell you they think it's already done behind the scenes for him to come in. I don't have that level of information to say that is definitely the case, but I definitely feel like we're trending in that direction. Yeah, so I think that story today backs up other stuff that I've heard, been told, and seen. So, let's wait and see. I need Joe to do a flying diving header and Ibu miss, said Jaden. I just want to do to score a goal. I don't mind if it goes in off his backside or however it goes in. I just want to see a Joe Gomez goal celebration. What about Klopp getting back into coaching? What do you think about that? I don't think it's true. Now, I don't know if Jurgen returns to coaching in the future. I really don't. But his agent, Mark Kosaka, has already come out and rubbished that Atletico Madrid rumour. Look, my educated guess would be that maybe Nagelsmann, after the World Cup, moves on to club management again, and perhaps the national team would tempt Jurgen to come back for a spell as the German national team manager. I don't know, but if he does come back to management, I hope it's not in the Premier League, and I doubt it would be in the Premier League because I don't want to see Jurgen managing another Premier League club. But if he wants another return to the side of the pitch, he wants to become a coach again, that's absolutely his prerogative. Yeah, that's it. I'm happy to see Jurgen out there living his best life and enjoying himself. What was this one from Keynote? 1 second. So, Mohamed Salah's goal versus Wolves marked his 254th for Liverpool. That surpasses Wayne Rooney's Manchester United's all-time goal scorer, who netted 253 goals for the Old Trafford side. Just another outstanding number to add to the growing list of numbers for Mohamed Salah, and what he's achieved at our football club will stand the test of time. It's incredible. Yeah, what we've seen from this man over his time at the club has been. Yeah, don't think it's normal. It isn't. Enjoy it, take it all in, because we'll look back on this era, this Mohamed Salah time at the club with, just tremendous fondness and love in years to come, like we do right now. I know some people think that I'm critical of Mo, but honestly, this is how I look at Mohamed Salah. You judge him differently because he's different. You judge him to the highest of standards because that's his level. He's performed at that. He's brought himself to that. You judge him against the Messis, the Ronaldos. That's his level. So when Mohamed Salah doesn't perform to that level, obviously it gets spoken about more. Now, some people think you shouldn't speak out against a player who's achieved that much, and that's their prerogative. But for me, when somebody has set a level, that's their level. You judge them at that. and you know what they're capable of. So when I speak critiquing Mohamed Salah, I do so with a heavy heart, but I do so honestly because of what we've seen in front of us. But don't ever, ever think that I don't worship the ground that man walks on. You know, he's a great of our football club, an icon of our football club, and truly one of the nicest surprises with regards to a signing that we've had, because none of us, and I mean none of us, expected Mohamed Salah to do what he's done when we signed him from Roma. I remember watching his last season at Roma and him setting up Dzeko and chipping in himself with a few goals, but never, ever, ever did I expect the consistency, the abnormalities of just the sheer impact he would have had. It's incredible. So, Arne Slot said, if you talk about the goal and assist, the first player you think about is probably not a fullback. If you can add that to a game when we didn't concede a chance 90 minutes, he's also part of the defending, then it's really positive. The first goal wasn't a chance, it was a 20-yard shot. It goes in. When Cody and when Cody and Mo did a good job in the lead up to the goal. The second goal went in, great overlap from Robbo. Mo is rarely offside, and that's one of the things that's special about him. We're 2-0 up and it opens the game up. I don't disagree with the manager on that one. I love the timing of the two goals as well, that they were so quick fire. That really kills off any confidence from the opponents. Craig, great win and a decent performance today. Robbo stood out. Could you wish our little girl Mia a happy 10th birthday? She's a big red. Oh, my pleasure. Mia, happy birthday, young lady. Mia, well done on picking the right club. I don't know if Mommy and Daddy forced it upon you, but either way, it was the right move. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm sure Mommy and Daddy are spoiling you rotten, but happy birthday from all of us at Anfield Agenda, Mia, and thank you for choosing the right club, and thank you for putting up with me if I'm ever moaning and listening. But we appreciate you, Mia, and have a wonderful birthday, young lady. Itachi said, have a feeling Klopp will take German national team job after the World Cup and Nagelsmann will take over at a big club. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting after this World Cup to see what way the managerial merry-go-round works. Will Poch come back to Spurs if Spurs stay up in the Premier League? And even saying that sentence out loud is a weird one. Then you've got Nagelsmann and what may happen there. It's going to be an interesting summer. We don't know yet what clubs are going to be looking for coaches. Spurs, yes. Manchester United, potentially yes, if they don't stick with Carrick. Liverpool, potentially yes. Man City, potentially yes, depending on what happens with Guardiola. What else we got? A couple of people in the chat saying happy birthday to me as well. I love that, folks. I do. If you'd like to submit your player ratings, by the way, for a player ratings video, not that one, this one, just scan that QR code on the screen. That will bring you into the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, where not only can you enter the giveaway for that Kenny Dalglish shirt, you can also submit your player ratings. And if you're in the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, coming towards the transfer window and stuff like that, that's where we'll be putting in all our news before we do videos. We put polls in there on the future direction of the channel and your take on all things Liverpool. So, it's grown incredibly quickly in our first season. We've got 18, nearly 19,000 people in the WhatsApp. So, thank you to everyone that has joined up to it. It's a great, easy way for us to keep in touch with you. Sharkovic said, interesting to hear Gareth Bale on the overlap talking about Madrid not really coaching technically unless they play Barca or Pep's team. Yes, I did see that clip. He said basically they're just given some instruction, but, told to go out there and do their thing and be good players. Right, so the Anfield Agenda man of the match. We're just about to hit 4,000 votes on this one, ladies and gentlemen. And it was relatively close between two players, but your Anfield Agenda man of the match is Mr. Andy Robertson, and very well deserved indeed. He wins the vote with 52%. Rio Engamoa in second place with 40%, then Curtis Jones and Joe Gomez. And thank you so much to everyone that took the time to vote. Irish guy made a song for you. It's beautiful, like Dom. Okay. Are we talking about the Irish guy, like Michael Ramsey? I have a lot of time for Michael. He's a lovely lad. Had the pleasure of meeting him, and always do what he needs from me, and vice versa. So, Okay, whatever the song is, I'll take it with good grace if it's from Michael, because I know he's a good lad. Liverpool winning means I can enjoy the weekend, said Alan Sutton. Yes, Alan, and I'm right there with you, bro. You know, doesn't have to be perfect, but it certainly puts us in a better form, doesn't it? Seeing Liverpool win. John Smith said, I can see Slot managing Spurs. Do you know what? John Connor said that as well. And interestingly enough, if I'm wrong on this, I apologise, but I'm almost sure Arne was offered the Spurs job previously before he came to Liverpool. Now, I'm not saying it was in the same summer, but I do think they tried to recruit him when he was at Feyenoord. And I think Leeds, if I'm not mistaken, also looked at Arne Slot at one point in the future or in the past. Do you think Klopp ushered in the era of hugging each other more? I don't know, but I'm all for it. I'm a very emotional person, so I'm a hugger. Definitely, if I meet somebody, I'd much rather give them a hug than an impersonal handshake. So yeah, if he has, brilliant, because I'm all for it. James Smith said, "Evening, Craig. Glad we won. I still think Slot needs to go, as do I, James. I still would prefer to move for Enrique over Alonso. I think he could bring that heavy metal style back to Liverpool we all miss. I would be with you on that. I just think it's probably unlikely. I think he'll stay on at Paris Saint-Germain, probably sign a new contract. But if he doesn't and he was available, I'd certainly like to think we'd give it serious consideration, because he plays a brand of football, that I think we'd all very much enjoy, and a brand of football that would suit the players that we have as well. So, Arne, on where this leaves Liverpool, he said, every 3 days I have a different feeling. 3 days ago, my feeling was completely different to now. Good to be in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. In 3-4 days away, another big game in Istanbul. And yes, it is. Because what we don't want is a repeat of going out in the Champions League in the last 16 like we did last year. We should be getting past Galatasaray over 2 legs. They don't travel very well in Europe, Galatasaray. So if we can go over there and win by an odd goal, even a draw, to bring it back to Anfield, I'd bank on us going through. He turned down the Spurs the summer before moving to us. Yes, said Keane. Yeah, I thought I had a recollection, mate, of him turning down that one. I'm delighted as well for the young man that won the 800 quid earlier on as well. Yeah, delighted. Oscar, wasn't it? Isn't that the gentleman's name? Oscar. Delighted for him as well. Knowing another Red's going to have a nice weekend. Who do you think could handle the Liverpool job? Well, the candidates we're speaking about, Luis Enrique absolutely could handle the job. Xabi Alonso absolutely could handle the job. Nagelsmann, wouldn't be my first choice, but I think he's got the gravitas to handle the job. The kind of Alonso and Enrique are the only two for me outside of Klopp that I think make sense or are undoubtedly able to walk in and do the role. There are other coaches like Sebastian Hoeneß that I'm not really sure about the step up yet, or whether it would be too much. Same with the likes of Andoni Iraola. I've no doubts about Iraola's ability as a coach, but I don't know, is it a big step up for him to make? Because when you're a manager of Liverpool or Manchester United, it's more than just your coaching ability. It's that presence, it's that persona, it's that vibe and that air that you carry, the way you carry yourself, the way you take on the role. It's a very unique thing, and probably more so than other football clubs, that relationship between the manager and the fans with Liverpool, with Manchester United, it's one that can't be faked. And that's where I think Slot falls down the most. Is I don't think that natural connection, that his personality type, I really just don't think it strikes a chord with Liverpool fans the way many managers do. Why do you think Alonso? In what sense? I think for a few reasons. One, because I know he's seriously being considered. Two, well, look what he achieved at Leverkusen, and I don't hold his time at Madrid against them, because I think that's a job set up for somebody to fail in, no matter who they are. If you're not going to give the manager the authority in that dressing room, how can he go in there and implement the standards that he wants? I would say to you, like, Alonso's somewhat of a risk in the same way Arne was somewhat of a risk. There aren't really many sure bets in world football these days with regards to coaches. You've got your Peps, your Kloppos, Ancelotti's at the tail end of his career. Mourinho, football's kind of moved past them. So, we're into that next era now to see who the next dominant managers are going to be for the next 10, 15 years. Nav, Joel said, the only problem with Liverpool winning the Champions League is we'd end up keeping Slot. That's my dilemma. Or would you rather win the FA Cup, top 4 or 5 and get rid of Slot? I don't know if I can handle Slot again. Look, my first priority is always Liverpool to win. So I want us to win the Champions League. I want us to win the FA Cup. Do I want Slot to stay on? No. And nothing is going to change that. But I want Liverpool to be successful more than I want myself personally to be happy about the managerial decision. I'd suck it up if, it genuinely felt like the right thing for the club. As much as I don't have that connection to the manager, I'm happy to shut my mouth and, accept improvements if they're there. But again, we keep talking in hypotheticals. What we have to do is talk about what has happened, what we have seen this season. Roshi, how are we, dude? Said, it's incredible how much better we play when leash is taken off and we're direct and attack. Could see how happy the players were in the second half. Yeah. And you wonder why that isn't there all the time. Same when we went behind against Wolves on Tuesday. Why did it take that for us to suddenly look like we had a hurry or a rush or, anything about us? It took us going behind to spring into life. Why is Georgie not in the nets for the FA Cup games? Not sure, Tanya. Honestly, not sure. That's obviously a call for the manager to make. I would have liked to have seen him, and I think, like, on a night like tonight against Wolves, Georgie wasn't going to have to make 15 saves. So it would have been a fairly, uneventful appearance from most likely. But maybe the manager just feels he needs to stick with what he deems to be the best 11 to give himself the best chance of success. I'm already upbeat for next season. Alonso, Elliot Anderson up front, Wirtz. I think Anderson's gone to Man City. I really do. That report today from Team Talk suggested it was a done deal, but maybe if they get relegated, perhaps it changes. You said Diamande, Rio, Ekitike and Isak, please come true. I do think we're going to have another busy summer. I do think we're going to have some exciting signings in the summer. I read a good article earlier on about VAR, and it said in Daisy Christodoulou's excellent book, I Can't Stop Thinking About VAR, the author explains how studies of the impact of slow motion replays in murder trials, American football, and football games in the US have shown that actions are more likely to be perceived as intentional and be more harshly punished when viewed in real time. I said this to you guys all along. One of my biggest gripes about VAR and how it's being used is the slow motion replays, because everything looks way more intentional in slow motion, and it looks like the person had a lot more time to make that decision as well on whether they challenge or whether they handball or whether they pull a shirt. So that article today in the Times on VAR was an interesting read, and there really is a divide in football fans now about whether they want VAR and all. In Italy and some other leagues, there's been protests around VAR. I think Augsburg said you can't win a horse race with donkeys to talk about VAR. Yeah, I hate it, and I was for VAR when it came in, but I think it's just becoming too much of an impediment in the game now. Too many stoppages, too many microscopic reflections back on, where's clear and obvious gone? Now they're just looking for everything. So I hate VAR. Sorry, I went off topic there for a little bit. I just wanted to bring that up on the slow motion things because it's been something I've been talking about for a while. If Xabi does a back three, is there still a need for a DM? I would say yes, because with a back three, you're still going to have your wider players pulling out in transition. Yes, ideally you'll have 5 at the back as well. When you have the ball and are moving forward, your wing backs get in. But if you turn it over in transition, yes, you still want your DM there to step in to stop that counter, because you can't protect the width as much in transition with a back three because your wing backs are starting in a higher position. So you almost just have one centre back then and 2 centre backs who are auxiliary full backs in that defensive position. So I would say, yeah, you do probably still need that person in front of that back 4 or back 3 in this area to mop it up and cut out danger. But I'll also say to you, I wouldn't be anywhere near as experienced in playing in tactically looking at a back 3 system. When I was playing football growing up or anything, I never ever seen a back 4, or excuse me, a back 3 system. So I played in back 5s, back 4s, but yeah, I don't really have a great tactical understanding of a back 3 system. It's something I'd have to do a bit more work on if Alonso was to come in and start to operate that system. Shano, how are we, dude? Hey Craig, hope all is well. Been a tough week. My cousin passed away on Sunday from cancer. We buried him yesterday, 40 years old, leaving 3 kids behind. Oh my days. I'm so sorry, first and foremost, Shane, for your cousin's passing. 40 years of age is no age, is it, mate? That's 4 years younger than me. And 3 kids behind. So sorry, mate. Sending you love and condolences. Even if we get a DM, we need a battling physical central midfielder. Even if we don't get a DM, excuse me, we need a battling central midfielder at least. So yeah, look, I'll be honest about it and say I definitely have to brush up if we were to play with a back 3. It's not a system I understand as well as a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3, even a 4 box 2 midfield. Yeah, so I definitely would admit I have to brush up on that a little bit, because in my time watching Liverpool as well, I can't recall many times or many managers who, if any, that operated with a back 3. Jamie, you'll never walk alone 73. Welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, bro. Appreciate you. Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to wind this one down because I'm going to go record the player ratings video now. Just one more little quote from Arna on Rio. Said, special because if you're 17 years of age, you can impact 2 Premier League sides facing each other, then that tells you how good of a player he is. But it's up to him to bring this every time. This should give him a lot of confidence to show him in an away game. It should. And like the manager said, I do hope it gives him a bit more impetus and a bit more, I would say confidence, because he's clearly not lacking in that, but it's about his football education now and, you know, learning about the things that maybe he can improve upon, because we all know what he's good at. Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to go and record the player ratings video. Who won the poll? Jonathan, it was Andy Robertson, mate. Andy Robertson won it. Rio Engamo was in 2nd place, and then I think Curtis Jones and Joe Gomez were 3rd and 4th. Right, ladies and gents, thank you all for being with us. Do hit that like button for me if you can before you head off. And don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. The player ratings video will be out in about 15-20 minutes time. And I will see you guys, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's a day off live content. So I will see you guys back again Sunday night for the late night agenda. We'll have videos coming out tomorrow and over the weekend, but no live stream tomorrow night. So yeah, enjoy yourselves. You can rest knowing that the Reds are in the draw on Monday for the FA Cup. Now we get to sit back and see who else is in the draw with us. Remember, Liverpool will be ball number 6. Ladies and gents, have a lovely weekend. I'll talk to you soon.